Rightio guys, well welcome to another episode of Full Pelt Adventures. Today I'm on the BMW G310GS. So I'm going to do a review on this, an honest review. Had this bike just over 2 years now, and yeah, I thought today we'll take it for a bit of a spin, go down to Essendon Airport and have a look at it, and I might later on go and do just a little bit of off-road riding. So yeah, it's all about the little GS, great little bike. I've done 13,439 kilometres on this bike. I did probably 10,000 of that in the first 6 months. Rightio, let's go. Oh, it's all right. Bit of get up and go. Just doing 80, 90, we'll get it up to 100 kilometres an hour. So there's 100. It's got about a 3 kilometre error in the speedo, so if you sit on about 103 you'll be right on 100, and it's doing just on 6,000 k at 100 kilometres an hour. So yeah, look, it'll sit on that all day long, no worries at all. So great bike, great commuting bike. Like I say, if you want to do the big Ks on this bike, long miles, it'll do it easy. So there we are, 100 kilometres an hour, 6,000 revs, really stable, no problem at all. It's only got a small fairing at the front there, so you do, I don't know, where's the wind going? Yeah, the wind is probably just hitting the top of the helmet. Not getting a lot of wind on the chest at all. And yeah, there's just some slight vibration through the seat, that's about it. Looking at the mirrors, a bit of vibration in the mirrors. You don't really notice it in the handlebars, only very slightly, but the mirrors are a little bit blurred at that RPM. So we'll just peel off here. Just takes us into Essendon Airport in here. Well, there's a BMW shop there. Only cars though, not motorbikes. Rightio guys, well I've parked the little GS, so let's have a look at it. Okay guys, so here it is, little BMW G310GS. See, you can see that there, 310, you may or may not be able to see that in the GS. Yeah, great little bike. So yeah, this is a 2019 model, so I've had this bike just over 2 years. Oh, sorry about the camera work. It costs just under $7,000, $6,990 to be exact, right away. So it's not a bad price. Yeah, the rego on these in Victoria costs just about $660 a year. So, and this bike, it has been lowered 40mm at the, so this allows my wife to ride it, get her feet on the ground. But we'll talk about that later. I'll just keep walking around the bike here. Get on this side. The sun's favouring this side. So the engine itself is a 313cc single cylinder 4-stroke 4-valve double overhead cam engine. You can even see that written on there, double overhead cam. I hope you can see that. I got it right. And you can see, this is like a reverse engine. You can see the exhaust pipe comes out the back. This comes out the back, down there, and out there. So yeah, as normal, most motorcycles, the exhaust come out the front. Well, this one comes out the back. The radiator guard, or the radiator, it's a water-cooled engine, so there's the radiator. It's got the rad guard, radiator guard on it. What else? It's got a 6-speed gearbox, pumps out 28 Newton meters of torque at 7,500 revs. Red line's at 10,800, so it can rev. It's got an 11 litre fuel tank on it. 1 litre of that is reserve. So it's a fuel injected engine, so you don't switch it on to reserve, just like all modern bikes. And that 11 litres you get, like the book claims, you get 3.3 litres per 100, but you know, in reality it's more like about 3.9, nearly 4 litres a 100 if you want to work in round numbers. So yeah, 25k to a litre gives you a range of about, you know what, 280k or something like that. It just runs on regular unleaded fuel, so your 91 octane fuel, doesn't need any more than that, so that's a good thing. The weight, it's the book claims it's just under 170 kilos wet, so that's not bad. Maximum load is, it says 345 kilos, so that gives you a payload of 175 kilos. So between, you know, rider and pillion, or rider and luggage, yeah, it's still got fairly good carrying capacity on it. The book claims top speed of 143 kilometers an hour, and I reckon that's about right. It probably won't do much more than that. And at 100 kilometers an hour, as you would have seen on the ride to the airport here, yeah, it sits on about 6,000 RPM, and it sits on that comfortably, and it will sit on that all day long. The front wheel, so let's sort of start going over the bike as well. So they're the sort of the numbers we're looking at. The front wheel, it's a 19-inch, it's got a Metzeler tyre on it. It's a Tour Ants tyres, front and rear. Like I say, I've done 13,500 k on this bike so far. These are still the stock tyres, so yeah, there's still a bit of wear to go on those. They're showing a little bit of perishing on the side. Probably the camera won't pick that up, but other than that, they're a pretty good tyre. Obviously they're not great, not real great in the mud, but just about everything else, they're not a bad all-round tyre actually, just for a stock tyre. What else? So you've got the upside down forks at the front here. You'll see there's a hang on, where are we? There, down there, Wilbur's. It's got a Wilbur sticker on it. So this bike, as I say, to get it lowered for my wife to ride, because basically it is her bike, but I've pretty much done all the Ks on it. Yeah, it's been lowered 40 mil. So at a place here in Melbourne, Suspensions R Us, down in the southeastern suburbs, they did the work on it. There's a new shock at the back, so a Wilbur's rear shock, completely new rear shock, and they've got new springs, or Wilbur's springs, in the front as well, and that's lowered the bike of the seat height 30 mil. So you lose 30 mil of ground clearance. Oh, sorry, 40 mil of ground clearance. So not sure what the actual ground clearance is on this bike, the standard number, but yeah, obviously lowering it, you do lose your ground clearance. But the Wilbur shock and the suspension all up was about $1,500 it cost. You've got adjustment on the preload and rebound with the rear shock. There's no adjustment on the front forks. But yeah, I did notice there was a huge improvement in handling with the suspension upgrade. So although, you know, if it was my bike I wouldn't have had it lowered, but because of my wife we did lower it. But yeah, be one thing that, you know, it's just like any motorbike, I suppose. If you upgrade the suspension to sort of a better system, yeah, it's always going to improve the bike, and it certainly did in this case. Not that it's not that I'm saying it needs it for this type of bike. It's only a small bike, but yeah, I did notice a big improvement. Yeah, it's a fairly big muffler on this thing as well, a standard muffler. So if you wanted to go down that road, you know, an aftermarket muffler or exhaust system, I'm sure that would improve it a little bit. But like I say, not necessary. Brakes, your Bribey brakes. It does have braided brake lines on this thing. I'll just run the camera. There's the front brake line. And where's the rear? You can see where's the rear there. So little braided brake lines on these, and I don't know whether you can see that or not. A bit hard to see. There's the Bibri rear brake, single piston on the back, and on the front it's got four piston caliper. Bribey, apparently. So there it is there. That's not bad. And they work okay, you know. They're not outstanding, but they work okay. The lighting in this thing, it's just got standard globes in the front and the blinkers, but it does have LED rear light. So this is an LED, and the number plate light under here, where, yeah, it's LED as well. All the rest of the globes, yeah, all the rest of them are, you know, your blinkers are all just your normal globes. In its standard form, getting back to the suspension, it's got 180mm of suspension front and rear. So this bike's, you know, been reduced, so it's only got about 140 now, front and rear. If we have a look at the accessories I've done on this bike, the radiator guard has got a RadGuard radiator protector on it, really good, $165. I think it just has a plastic, some sort of plastic thing on it standard. Also has a plastic bash plate standard, but it's been replaced with an SW Mototech bash plate, and brilliant bit of kit that. And that was $290 for that bash plate, but yeah, look at that, it's pretty good. And the other one we've got standing up, obviously the bark busters with the storm guards. So yeah, love the storm guards. So they're on there as well. And the back here as well, what I've got here is I've made this wooden, I suppose, plate or wooden support there. So when I bought the bike, I also bought a fairly big bag, BMW bag, that goes on there, and it was sort of drooping over the sides just with the standard rack. So I built this thing out of wood just to support the bag, and I've also screwed on a givvy, or jivvy, however you say it, a plate to take a top box as well. So just over there where my stuff is, you can see the givvy top box. And you're having the ability to have these plates interchangeable between all three bikes with the DR650, the T700, and this bike. I can run that one top box on all three bikes, which is really handy. So this bike now, I usually just use this as a commuter bike to work. That's its main use now, but it's just such a fun bike. I love riding it. The longest trip I've done on this bike is with Mark and a few other guys. Tony, Pete, and oh man, I can't think of the other guy, Dan. So the five of us did the Pooncarie run, old Carnage Road, and this bike performed beautifully. I was really happy with this bike on that run. Bloody rained a fair bit. We're on the really muddy roads there for a while, and it got me through this little bike. So very, very capable bike. It was about a 1,600 kilometre round trip in 3 days. Rode all the way from Ivanhoe, which is up in New South Wales, down to Melbourne on the last day. That was 650 kilometres on that day. Did it easy, you know, you're doing 100 kilometres an hour, all, you know, pretty much most of the way home, and it just purred along, didn't miss a beat. So what a great little bike. The seat is uber comfy, and at times, if I'm getting a little bit of a sore butt, as you do when you just seat planted in the one position, I usually put my bum back up on the pillion spot there and stretch out, and it's super comfy as well. So riding two up on this bike, yeah, it'd be pretty good actually for the pillion. That the seat is so comfortable, so it's quite capable of doing two up. What else can I tell you about this bike? The only problems I've had with this bike, and we've also got, my wife's also got a little BMW G310R, that's so the naked version of this thing. The main problem we've had with both bikes was the low beam light wasn't working or stopped working, and it was really bizarre that both bikes had that problem. But anyway, through warranty we got it fixed. It was found out there's just loose connections underneath the tank or something like that, so they fixed that up and it was fixed under warranty. That's the only problem I've had with this bike. With the other bike, which I will do a review on at some stage, the G310R, is the alternator failed on it as well, so we had to get that replaced and a new battery as well, and that was all under warranty as well. And you know, with BMW you get like roadside assist for a year or two as well, so they just come and collected the bike and took it away and got it fixed, so at no cost, so that was all right. So these bikes, if you're not aware, they're made or manufactured in India. So BMW have teamed up, I forget the company in India, but they are built in India, so that's, you know, I suppose it's a bit cheaper for them to manufacture them there, and a lot of bikes nowadays are being manufactured in India or these sort of other Asian countries. But you know, like, what can I say about the quality of this thing? It's pretty good. It's probably not up to the German standard with the BMWs, but again, these are built for a price, and they're probably built more so for the Indian market, you know, because it's a huge market there, and they're built for a price. And you know, what can I say? They definitely do fill a gap, and for a small capacity lightweight bike which can commute, do off-road, it's a pretty good bike. And the GS itself, it's not, when you look at it, it's not, it doesn't look a small bike, it looks like a full-size bike as well. So that's one of the bonuses of this bike. Just quickly run you around the bike. So it's got a fairly big a brake pedal on it, which is good. You know, that's bigger than, a lot bigger than a lot of bikes. It's got rubber inserts in the foot pegs there, which is good. Helps with a little bit of the vibration. This whole rear frame section, this section here runs up there, and then you know, the frame runs back under here, and there's a bolt there, so that whole rear frame section can be removed. What do we got here? We've just got a helicopter overhead. Let's have a look at a bit of helicopter action. Oh, this is the police helicopter. There it is. Cool. Anyway, yeah, so the police air wing is based at Essendon Airport. Anyway, getting back to the bike. So yeah, nice big brake pedal, rubber inserts in the you know, foot pegs. Rear section can all, you know, be removed if need be. There's your pillion pegs there. What else? Moving around the bike. Yeah, so it's got a fairly big carry luggage rack on it. You can see it sort of comes, you know, the size of it. A little Guardian bell on there as well. Got to have that, keep the gremlins away. So you look, you could even you know, strap something under here if need be, if you know, your space poor. I think the book says the maximum weight that this can carry is like 5 kilo, which is bugger all, but you know, I think most bikes, even the Tenere has got some ridiculous sort of a restriction like that as well. But you know, this here, this has carried a lot heavier weight than that I've put on it, and you can see the value of this this plate that I've made. I've just out of wood, it's just out of MDF wood, and I've just put some silver cloth tape around it just to protect it. So yeah, it works really fine. So it looks a bit ugly, but you know, it does the job, serves the job well. And you can see, if I have a close look at the tyre here, like I say, it's done 13,500 k. Yeah, still a little bit of meat on that. And yeah, really happy with those tyres. Moving around on this side, I don't know, look, there's still a little bit of bloody life in those chain and sprockets yet. Again, it's got a fairly good shifter on it as well, fairly big, which is good. A little bit of slack in that, might have to adjust that out a bit. Again, you can see the exhaust pipe coming down here. This is the Wilbur's rear shock, very good unit there, and the, you know, the rebound damping's on the bottom there. You just move that little red adjuster there. What else? We come up onto the dash. So I'll just hang on, I'll go and get the key. Okay, so with the fuel, great little fuel. There it is there. I do have a tank bag for this that I do also run on the T700. So it's a BMW tank bag. It's fairly expensive, as you would expect being a BMW items, but I will show you that in a later stage. Now looking at the controls here, yeah, there's the, you know, the high beam flasher there, and this is the low and high beam switch there, and your blinkers and the horn, beep beep. So yeah, you'll see the shape of the indicator there where it's good. It's sort of, it's arced this way to hold your thumb, and you know, shaped that way when you're pushing it that way. But hey, what I've just noticed, it does have switchable ABS right there, you idiot. So there you go, there's the switchable ABS. And so basically just like the Tenere, that's all the Tenere's got, and that's all this little bike's got, the switchable ABS. So moving along the handlebars here, I'll just put the key in the ignition there, but we'll go over this side. So again, this is just your kill switch there, and the starter switch just there. That's it, that's all it's on that side. If we turn the ignition on, hopefully you can see that. I don't know whether you can see that or not. Anyway, all the blinkers are on. So it is due for a service. That's what that little flag there is for. It's saying 13,443 kilometres, and yeah, your fuel gauge is up the side here. Along the bottom here is your tacho. So yeah, you know, it's starting to get to the limit up in 10,000, but at the end the book says 10,800 is its limit. It's 3:50 p.m. and that's the odometer, and there's just this one button here that you push, which scrolls through. Trip, we've done 6.6k so far on this trip. There's another one. The engine's at 32.8 degrees Celsius. It's saying the range is 260. And consumption, well, on this little ride that I've done, it's saying that I've used 4.5 litres per 100. And then the average speed was 40 kilometres an hour. And that's the date. And up to setup and back to odometer. So there are all the functions there. So going around, like I say, the windscreen's not real big. You can get bigger aftermarket ones. So there are accessories. Probably a stone guard would be a bloody good idea too. Something I really should get for this bike. There's another plane. Bit of plane action, guys. There we go. We'll come back. So yeah, a headlight guard would be good. I think if I was doing more off-road riding, I probably would. You know, like everything BMW, if you break something, it's going to be expensive. But that's the headlight. So yeah, great. I love the colour scheme on this bike. It's real BMW colour scheme. So they do have various colours each year that they change. But yeah, I do like the colour of this bike. Anyway, I'll just flip you guys around so I can see what I'm doing. Where's the bike? There's the bike in the background. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little review. I'll jump on the bike now. I'll go for a little bit more of a ride. I'll talk a little bit more about the bike. Maybe, you know, what it's like on the freeway. And then we might go and do a little bit of off-road riding as well. Okay, let's go and jump on the bike. Okay guys, we'll get going now. Now, I've just turned the ABS off. So you just got to hold the ABS switch for about 3 seconds, it'll turn it off. You're just going to check whether you can turn it on and off on the run. Yes, you can. So the ABS is now on. Let's see if I can turn it off while I'm riding. Because this is something you can't do on the Tenere. So I'm just holding it in. Yeah, okay, so that's cool. You can do it on the run. Good old German/Indian technology there. How good is that? Yeah, so we'll just go for a little ride. I'll get back on the freeway. One thing I just thought of then too, in regards to problems with this bike, there is a recall on some of the 310s for a brake recall. Apparently there's a chance of corrosion in some of the brake components, so there is a recall on it at the moment. It hasn't been done on this bike yet, so next service I'll take it in and hopefully they can get that done. When the recall first come out, yeah, they just didn't have the parts to replace it with, so it's been a little bit of an ongoing issue for them to actually even fix the problem because of lack of parts. And then because I bought this bike just before the COVID pandemic, and then just since then, yeah, as you know, parts have become a real problem for a lot of bikes. But anyway, that's the only other issue. So this bike, the low beam light wasn't working, so it was just a connection problem. It took BMW I think a couple of goes to fix the problem on this bike, and anyway, it's fixed. It's been working perfectly, and that's the only issue that I've had. So other than the recall that we've got to get looked at, yeah, no problems at all. So very reliable bike so far. And it was really strange that both 310s that we bought, and we bought them 6 months apart from different dealers as well, and they both had that low beam headlight problem. So it'll be interesting to see what people have to say in the comments in regards to that, whether any other owners have had that issue or what other issues they've had. But yeah, other than that, great little bikes. So, you know, just coming out of the Essendon Airport here now. But perfect commuter bikes, these little things. And, you know, great learner bikes. This is why we bought it for my wife as well. She'd never ridden motorcycle before. And once we got her on the 310R, away she went. She learnt on that. and she also wanted the capability of riding off-road, so this is how this bike come along. It was just like the perfect fit. So we've still got the R model because my wife can't let that go, because it's got so many memories for her learning to ride on it, and her first motorbike she's ever owned or ridden. So from a sentimental point of view, she can't let that bike go. But for in the case of the GS, for a bike that a little bit of a one bike does all, this is ticks a lot of boxes. Well, have a look at the 1250 over there, guys. There's a BMW 1250, so it looks very similar, that sort of thing. But yeah, they're big bikes, very heavy bikes. It's got the Akrapovic exhaust on it, got the soft tail bag as well. So yeah, very nice. Fairly big windshield on that as well, which would be probably good on this thing, so a windshield like that. Anyway, there's the big brother. But like I say, this bike, when you put this bike up against other bikes, it doesn't look that small. But for shorter people, or people that aren't that strong or whatever, and new, getting into motorcycling, getting into adventure riding, learner approved, great little bike. So I just love riding this thing as well. It's a real fun bike to ride. Obviously it hasn't got the punch that bigger bikes have. Nice little Harley there. It's a learner Harley. Look at that. It sounds pretty cool. That'd be a great learner bike as well, that. Sure where they're made. They may be made in India as well. Can't remember. There you go. If you want to learn a bike, there's a Harley there. You can do something like that, or jump on a little adventure bike like this. Not sure whether the sound, the microphone will pick up the sound of the Harley, but it sounds pretty cool. Alrighty. Alright, up to 100 kilometres an hour now. So it's in 6th gear, up to 100. Like I say, it's got about a 3 kilometre error in the speedo, and 6,000 revs. Away you go. Sit on this all day long. Very comfortable, very stable. Yeah, so from a learning point of view, great bike. I can remember when this bike was new, it was fairly vibey, or you had a lot of vibrations, but once the engines run in and the more Ks you get into it, the smoother it's gotten. So not really a problem. I don't get numb hands or anything like that. There's just slight vibration through the seat, but the seat is so comfortable. Yeah, really good. And like I say, if you've been on the bike for a while, riding a long ride, you can always just, I'm just sitting up on the pillion seat now. That just gives you a chance to stretch your legs out, use different muscles on your butt, and give you a little bit of a break. So it's nice to be able to do that. But it's, you know, wouldn't matter what bike you're on really. If you're sitting there for an hour or more. Doesn't matter how hard or soft the seat is, it's bloody, you'll want to rest anyway. Your bum will want to rest from being in the one position all the time. So yeah, for learner riders, new riders, older riders, or just bloody anyone, it's worth, if you're looking at something like this, a lightweight adventure bike. You know, I've seen YouTube videos of guys taking these bikes just about anywhere, and part of the reason for that is it's, you know, lighter weight. It's not, you're not getting fatigued from wrestling a big bike. But being a lower capacity bike, yeah, it does need to be revved. It doesn't have that torque, you know, that the bigger capacity bikes have. So it can be easy to stall if you're not keeping the revs up. So you just got to be aware of that, or, you know, be a lot more savvy with the clutch, using the clutch. But that's just the joys of riding a smaller capacity bike. The ergonomics of this thing for me, being I'm 5'8", is really good. For taller people, riders, you know, 6 foot might be a little bit cramped. So again, if you're thinking about buying one of these bikes, definitely go and test ride one, see whether it's the bike for you. Standing up on the bike, it's not great. It's probably one of its weaker points. So if you were doing off-road riding and doing a lot of standing up on the pegs, yeah, it's not the best. I'll just stand up on the pegs. Yeah, the tank is sort of not really great for that sort of thing. It's doable, but you know, you wouldn't be able to stand up on the pegs for long periods of time. It's just not built for that sort of thing. Anyway, we'll head back towards the city. Do a little bit of off-road riding and have another bit of a talk about the bike as well. Give you a look, give you a look at what it's like off-road. Okay guys, so we're just out on a little bush track here. So just up on the pegs at the moment. So yeah, I'll just go for a little bit of a jolly along this track here, just on this old creek, not far from home. So I'm not going to go too fast because I've got the Givey top box on the back. It's got all the camera equipment in it, so I just want to take it easy. But just give you an idea of this bike's quite capable off-road. Obviously, with better tyres, if you're going to do this sort of thing, would be good. But with the stock tyres, as long as you take it easy, they're fine. So as long as you're not doing real crazy stuff, this bike will, pretty much take you wherever you want to go. Bit of a puddle here. Yeah, so how much fun is this? Just doing what you want to do. Let's go this way. Too easy. So going up on the pegs, look, it's not too bad. I know I took this up to the Murray Sunset with Mark and a few of the boys. Very sandy up there. And it wasn't much fun in the sand, particularly with these tyres as well. But, as like anything, if you take it easy, you can sort of go most places. Still up on the pegs. Yeah, look, it's not too bad actually. You know, the foot pegs themselves are fairly small, so you know, for bigger blokes or bigger people, they might want, you know, wider pegs, depending on how much sort of riding you're doing. Now we're just going to go down here. This is, I don't know whether the cameras will pick it up or not. It's fairly steep, this. Probably should have the ABS buddy turned off, shouldn't I? But there's a bit of a climb here too, so this is where revs and clutch, like I say, these will stall easily, so you just got to keep the revs up to them, a bit of clutch control, and you shouldn't have any problems. Just as an example, this bike, take it just about anywhere. Again, we're going uphill here. Going into this open paddock. And it's fairly comfortable. Like I said, I'll get up on the pegs. Yeah, no problem at all. Very flickable. There's a bit of a track up here. I might just go up there and set the cameras up maybe. So where do we go? It's up here. Is it up here? Maybe not. Here we go, this track. This is what I was looking for. And then in here, bit of a track here. So yeah, there's just a little flat track here. Let's see what it's like to ride this thing around a little bit of a flat track. A little bit, oh, we'll cut over here. Turn the ABS off too. There's the ABS is off. A little bit loose. so it's not too bad. I was a bit more confident with the tyres. I don't have a lot of confidence on loose stuff, but it's still nice dry track. Yeah, it really is pushing the suspension a bit with those little whoops. But for a little 310, whoa, got a bit sideways there. Little 310. It's a lot of fun. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video on the little G310GS, great little bike. And I'll catch you in the next episode, Full Pelt Adventures. See you later.